Hey, Battle Built here with another video, and today we're getting some more Season 6 Ultra League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles. These are actually some of the last Season 6 Ultra League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles that we're going to be seeing. And as we come into the finish line, it's time to get a little spice, get a little meme with this Triple Fairy team. Now, here's the catch with this Triple Fairy team. They're not all Charmers. We're not going to be watching Charm spam throughout this entire video, and these fairies are a bit XL'd. What you might notice is the Alolan Ninetales is not running Charm. It's running Powder Snow as a quick move. The Gramble is actually running Snarl as its fast move. And there's only one Charmer throughout this team of 3. Also, to take note of those XLs, they're not fully level 50 XL Pokemon, but they've definitely had some XL candies put into them. So it's exciting to see how this type of team is going to perform in some Ultra League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles, considering there are quite a few Steel types. And he does kind of have an answer for the Steel types in the form of his Gramble with close combat, but let's see how much that's able to allow this team to have some success. Don't expect a full 5-0 set, and also keep in mind this is a submission from a fellow PvPer of the community by the name of Maverick, and I'm extremely appreciative for the submission of these battles. I honestly cannot wait to watch them. One other thing that I want to say before we jump into these battles, we just passed the 6,000 subscriber mark on YouTube, and I cannot be more appreciative of it, and I want to thank you all as we continue to grow. The consistency of the videos and the consistency of the support is really appreciated. And again, as always, if you don't mind a like, comment, subscribe as we get in these battles, like I would be very thankful for it. Okay, so let's check out this battle. He won lead, but here comes the first Steel type he's going to run into. It's an Excavalier. He safe swaps into Gramble to try and deal with it. The Excavalier throws a Drill Run. He shields it. He's probably going to Snarl up to 2 close combats. And honestly, Gramble gets to these close combats quite quickly. He's going to let this next Drill Run come through. Should only be neutral damage, so the Gramble's not too worried about it. He's overfarming a bit, going for the crunch, expecting the opponent to probably shield because the close combat would definitely hit harder, but the close combat will debuff the Gramble. He does get a shield, which is clutch there. Now, can he get to 2 close combats before? I mean, he has a shield. He should be able to get to 2 close combats here and keep things lined up so that he has Alolan Ninetales. I mean, honestly, his entire team kind of destroys the Dragonite. He just has to be hopeful whatever the third Pokemon is, it's something his Charmer or Fairy type Pokemon can beat. And unfortunately does not keep Switch because that close combat actually didn't take out the Excavalier. I guess not having Stab was quite the predicament. So let's see what play he decides to make here to finish off the Excavalier. He comes back into Alolan Ninetales. This should be another Drill Run. Is he going to shield it? Decides to shield it. Probably going to commit to a Powder Snow down of the Excavalier. Ends up doing that, and we're going to find out what the opponent's last Pokemon is, and it ends up being another Steel type. This is extremely unfortunate, just considering the pure fact that he'd be able to slaughter the Dragonite, but this Empoleon might be able to 1v2 the rest of his team, and he doesn't even give it a chance. He actually backs out. I honestly kind of wanted to see that. I don't think the match was that over to top left back out like that. He could have spammed quite a few Psyshocks, even though the Ninetales wasn't fully XL'd. The Psyshocks would have slowly added up. Could have taken a Hydro Cannon onto Ninetales, maybe swapped into Clefable, charmed it down. The charms would have added up. Clefable's almost at 2,500. I honestly think he could have committed and potentially won that match out, so it's unfortunate he decided not to play it out. But getting to this next matchup, he has a positive lead up against a Toxicroak. Goes for the Psyshock right away, but honestly, I expect the Toxicroak to shield these all these charge moves coming from the Ninetales because they could be Psyshocks, so he's probably better off baiting just because the Weather Balls would be a little bit cheaper. The opponent pulls a solid swap to catch a Psyshock onto their Excavalier, and he's running into another Steel type. So this Triple Fairy team, not off the best start. Can this match go a little bit better than the last one? That is going to become the question. He does have one of his opponent's shields here, so he doesn't have to shield this Excavalier charge move, which ends up being another Drill Run. Gonna build up to 2 close combats. Will he be able to get them both off before the next Drill Run? Let's find out. It seems close. I feel like the Excavalier is probably 1 counter away from another Drill Run, so hopefully you can just click on the next close combat. The opponent decides not to shield, and that takes out the remaining health of the Excavalier. Do they just come back in the Toxicroak? They do just come back in the Toxicroak to counter down. He's going for another close combat. This is going to be resisted by a Toxicroak, but it should still hit for some pretty heavy damage. It does do a lot, but now the Toxicroak's able to counter down. So do you come back in with Clefable, try and charm down the Toxicroak? What's the decision he's going to make? Because the Toxicroak does have some energy, and the Alolan Ninetales is pretty low. He does come into the Clefable. Charge move's coming through. He's shielding. Could be a Sludge Bomb. Doesn't want to take any chances. Ends up being a Mud Bomb, but they shouldn't be able to get to another Charge move. They're just going to get Charmed down. And let's see what the opponent's last Pokemon is. And he takes it. Must have been another fighter. The opponent did not want to see a Triple Fairy team while running Toxicroak and whatever their other fighter was. And they had a triple counter team, actually, because they had Excavalier also. I mean, we don't know for sure. We don't know what their third Pokemon was. I'm assuming, just based on their back out, that was probably a triple counter team. And that definitely does not want to run into Triple Fairy. So 1-1 in the set, not terrible, you know. When you're memeing around with Triple Fairy, honestly, anything better than an 05 is pretty hype. Has what looks like a decent matchup. I don't know if it goes well for Ninetales because it's not fully excelled, but we'll be able to spam these Weather Balls and do some decent chip damage. I know in Great League this is a positive matchup, but that's because they're both at that 1500 ceiling, whereas this Ninetales definitely needs some more XL candies to get to that 2500 ceiling. So he shields the first Hydro Cannon, gets outpaced. Interesting. So, because he clicked on the Weather Ball just as they got to their next Hydro Cannon. Ninetales is able to tank that. Honestly, I could be wrong. I'd have to double check if Swampert actually outpaces or gets to these Hydro Cannons at the same time that Ninetales is getting to Weather Balls. But it's looking like it. Looks like it's actually outpacing it. Fascinating. Just considering the fact that Powder Snow Weather Balls are really fast, like generating move between Quick Move to Charge Move. Like Quick Move generating energy quickly, obviously, and then Weather Ball just being a really cheap charge move. But he gets to another Weather Ball, threatens his opponent's last shield, has 2 shields, ends up getting to this Weather Ball, but ends up being another CMP tie. Swampert's winning that CMP tie in this situation. Gonna get Hydro Cannon down, and you probably want to come into Clefable so you can just charm down the Swampert and hope that it doesn't get to a Sludge Wave, because you would definitely... Okay, there's gonna be another Hydro Cannon, because you would definitely need to throw a move if it came in Gramble, would not be able to charm it down. So tanks the Hydro Cannon, and keep in mind this is also a shiny Clefable, so you know the little extra shiny damage, which is never true, but is pretty cool. And a Venusaur comes in, which... Oh, wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, but it takes forever for Clefable to get to Psychic when it's running Charge as a quick move. Really needed to pull a swap and catch the Frenzy Plant on the Gramble to have any chance there of taking out the Venusaur. And I do appreciate him saving time for that matchup, because once Clefable goes down, that was definitely GG. Gramble would have gotten Frenzy Planted, and the Crunches just would not have taken out, and close combats would have been resisted. His play there was definitely to try and swap and... I guess get Clefable, get Gramble taken out so he could Psychic the Venusaur later, or maybe the back Pokemon doesn't want to see the Clefable, I don't know. He definitely needed to swap out before the Clefable went down, unfortunately. And getting into the next match, we have Fairy on Fairy abuse going on right here. Between Powder Snow and Charm, the opponent pulls a swap into Snorlax, does not end up catching the move. He stays in for a bit, now has 2 Weather Balls on his Alolan Ninetales, comes into his Fighting Fairy, because again... Gramble has access to that close combat, which will be super effective against a normal type like Snorlax, but the Snorlax has formed up quite a bit, so it's probably at 2 Body Slams right now. He goes for the Crunch, hoping that the Snorlax will shield the charge move. Considering how thick Snorlax is, yeah, I wasn't really expecting a shield there, and they were at 2 Body Slams. Gonna use the shields here, probably gonna build up to another 2 close combats in this situation to try to either get the shields or take out the Snorlax's remaining health, but it's getting really close to that next Body Slam, so he had to throw this close combat now. I don't think this will take out the Snorlax's remaining health, but it'll get it really low if they don't shield it. Oh, it does take it out. Okay, okay. Respect to Gramble's attack step. He ends up keeping things lined up, decides to swap out, I guess expecting the Fairy to come back in, and with Crunch and Close Combat, neither of which are going to be hitting for neutral damage, both being resisted by the Clefable. That was the logic in swapping like that. But then they come in with an Obstagoon, and an Obstagoon definitely does not want to see a triple Fairy team. The one Fairy out of these 3 that I want to see is this Ninetales, but this Ninetales is pretty loaded. And if this Obstagoon does not run Gunk Shot, it's just going to get charmed down by the Clefable, or potentially close combated by the Gramble after it counters down the Alolan Ninetales. So let's see what he decides to do. Honestly, I would come back in with Gramble, try to get to that close combat that he was nearly at, and get the opponent's last shield. But he comes into Clefable, just knowing that if the Obstagoon does have a Gunk Shot, he could shield it and still safely charm down. Ooh, big call there, calling the Night Slash. It was a little risky. I don't think you needed to get that risky there, because in case that Gunk Shot came through, that was definitely going to be one of the more worrisome moves. Okay, maybe not. Maybe that was a big call, because the Meteor Mash coming through from the Clefable would be super effective. So, honestly, really clutch not using the shield there, so you could shield the Meteor Mash that just came through. Because then again, after what a play, swaps into the Gramble to almost snarl down, throw the crunch even after, even though they still have the shield left. The opponent uses the shield, and then they take each other out while the Clefable's still alive. But honestly, calling that Night Slash on the Goon was a huge play. I don't think they did enough counters to be at a gung shot, but still, it's a bit risky in that type of endgame situation. But I respect the smart call. Probably was counting the counters and knew better. Okay, getting into, I think, the 5th and final match. I think I only have 5 battles sent to me in this set. We'll find out after we watch this one. But we have another Ninetales on Toxicroak lead. He's going straight for the Psyshocks here. Again, I would still recommend baiting in this situation just because Psyshock being double super effective has to be respected. And they don't respect it and they get one shot. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Just go for the Psyshock, even though it's a little bit more energy. Apparently, some people are expecting the bait and they decide not to shield and just let their Toxicroak just get completely one shot by an Alolan Ninetales. So, quite impressive there. Lapras comes in and can continue to throw these Psyshocks. Lapras is quite bulky, and again, the Alolan Ninetales is not fully excelled, so these Psyshocks are not hitting hard, but they are slowly adding up. They're quite spammy. Lapras is going to have to throw. Probably goes for the Surf. Maybe goes for the Skull Bash just for the defense improvement, on top of the fact it would take out the Ninetales' remaining health. That makes sense. Didn't take out. Wow. Considering it's not fully excelled, ooh, I don't know if that was the swap. I think you just kind of get ice sharded down there. But does decide the swap, and the Lapras is staying in, so maybe I'm wrong. I've clearly been wrong on a couple occasions already watching through these battles. With some of the plays that were made, they were quite unique and have paid off dividends for the wins that have happened in this set. Builds up to the crunch here. This is definitely a good play because they need to kind of respect the close combat, and at the same time, the crunch would get it really low even with the defense improvement. Going for another crunch here. Now that they committed one shield, do you think the Lapras commits both shields in this situation? They decide to commit both shields even though they were double buff, or not double buff, single buff from the Skull Bash. Another charge move coming through, should only be another Surf. Edge should be able to get to another crunch before they get to a Surf. The question is, with the buffed defense of the Lapras, will this take it out? We will find out right now. It gets it really low. Unfortunately, not low, obviously not low enough to take it out. It's clearly sitting there. Surf's going to come through. Should take out the Gramble's remaining health. This was definitely... Oh, no. Just barely stayed alive. I do not use all these Charmers that often, so I apologize for some of these missed calls. But honestly, definitely wanted to go for the close combat in that situation to finish off the Lapras. But it works out because it ends up being some extra farm for the Clefable to charm down the Lapras. The Snorlax is going for a charge move here. Should only be a Body Slam. Will not take out Clefable's remaining health. Should almost be another charge move, but the Snorlax decided to throw, I guess, when they got to both Body Slams, and the Clefable's already at the Psychic, which gets it extremely low. They're at the next Body Slam. See, I'm right about some of these calls. This Body Slam will take out the remaining health of the Snorlax, but the Snorlax just... Is it too low? Oh, that was tough. That was tough. I got the powder. Oh, no. That was so unfortunate. I was going to say, is it too low? But both the Ninetales and the Gramble were too low in health to do anything there, to either get to their charge moves or to quick move down the Snorlax. So that was 5 matches. I guess I have a 6th match here. Hopefully it's not a repeat. Either way, these have been quite the fun battles to watch. This is definitely not a repeat. We have not seen a Gengar yet. And I think this is a positive matchup, even though the Ninetales is not fully XL, just considering how glassy Gengar is. Just needs to make sure that they don't get hit by a Sludge Bomb, which means they probably will get baited, but spamming these Weather Balls will threaten shields. Again, even not fully XL'd, Gengar still does not want to take this damage. Charge move coming through, gonna respect the Sludge Bomb, gonna use the shields here. Ends up being a Shadow Ball. Okay, that would still hit really hard. And gonna go for the Psychic here. I wonder, I guess Weather Ball probably wouldn't have taken out the remaining health, so getting the super effective damage definitely would have. But they pulled the Solid Swap, catching the Psyshock on the Snorlax there. Gonna go into there. Fairy Fighter again in the form of Gramble, build up the 2 close combats, probably throw them back to back after the Snorlax gets the Body Slam off. They're gonna get to, he's gonna get to 2 close combats right about the same time. I think the Snorlax is just short of their next Body Slam here. Does this get a shield, or will it get the Snorlax really low? Goes for both of them back to back because he does not want to have to shield his Gramble to get off his energy. Will they shield this one to get off the Body Slam? They decide not to shield the Snorlax at all. Take it out. The Gengar is coming back in, but now the Gramble's health is way too low. Gets Shadow Clawed all the way down, so it becomes some free farm for the Gengar. Luckily, they threw the Shadow Ball earlier, so they have energy, but they don't have like a boatload of energy. There should be another Shadow Ball, though. The question is, do you shield it? No, they're going to let it come through. Ends up being another Shadow Ball. Takes out the Ninetales' remaining health. Gonna hope that the Clefable can charm down and that whatever they have in the back is something that a charmed Clefable can do well against, even at a shield disadvantage. Really needs that back Pokemon to be a Dark type or a fighter like a Shadow Machamp. Will he be able to charm down before the Rock Slide comes through and is able to finish off the Machamp and then charm down the Gengar to take the match? These have been quite the battles. Clefable coming in clutch endgame with all its oppressive charm damage. And that was the last battle of the set. Okay. I was like, was that the last battle or was this the last battle? I don't know. There we go. That's the pre-screen that I wanted to put up. Let me know what you thought of those battles. They were quite entertaining to watch. I really enjoyed them. Ultra League is coming to an end, so I'm extremely excited for some Love Cup. I do apologize for any submissions I didn't get to. I was putting out a lot of my Spice picks from the Twitch stream, and I've been really overloaded at like my actual job, so it's been kind of hard to balance doing legitimate YouTube videos the way that I do, because they take a little bit more time, whereas with Twitch I live stream and I just use that stream as a video, so it's a lot less time to just cut that out and throw it onto YouTube. And I've been trying to still get you consistent content, because I do apologize. I have been really busy at my teaching job. But aside from that, I do have a break coming up and whatnot, and I will try my best to make more time to not just put out Twitch videos for Love Cup, because I am extremely excited for that meta. Please get me your submissions as soon as you possibly can, because Love Cup is only going to be for a week long, and I definitely want to figure out what's good in the meta to get you a good go-to team in case you're still making that push to Legend. And I would definitely love to highlight some more Spice or some picks that we don't typically see in Great League, or even some meme-ish teams in the form of Triple Fairy. But either way, Maverick, thank you so much for the submission. I really enjoy watching the battles. I hope you all enjoyed. I wish you good luck with the rest of your battles in your final pushes to Legend rank. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you all in the next video.